5, 4, command engine start, 2, 1, ignition. Liftoff. New Shepard has cleared the tower.
When pop star Katy Perry and 5 other women boarded Blue Origin's latest flight, it was supposed to be a celebration, the first ever all-female space crew, a cultural milestone, a moment of inspiration for girls everywhere. But within minutes of touchdown, the mission became a meme, and not in the way they'd hoped. So what went wrong? Let's dive into how this 11-minute space flight went from empowering to embarrassing, and why Katy Perry reportedly now regrets the whole thing. On April 14th, 2025, 6 women boarded a Blue Origin rocket and blasted into suborbital space. On paper, this was historic. It was the first time an all-female crew had taken such a journey. On board were pop icon Katy Perry, media personality Gayle King, NASA rocket scientist Aisha Bowe, bioastronautics student Amanda Ewen, film producer Carrie Ann Flynn, and journalist Lauren Sanchez, who also happens to be Jeff Bezos' fiancée. For years, space travel has been dominated by men. So when this mission was announced, it was hyped as a bold step forward. Perry herself claimed the trip would inspire young girls to explore space with no limitations. But those limitations became the center of the backlash, and it all unraveled quickly. Here's where things started to crack. The flight wasn't a traditional NASA-level space mission. It was a suborbital trip, meaning the rocket didn't complete an orbit around Earth. The total time in space? Just 4 minutes of zero gravity, then a return to the ground. The entire journey lasted 11 minutes total. That didn't stop major outlets from framing it like a groundbreaking scientific achievement. Some viewers expected a multi-day mission, thinking Perry and crew would be floating in space for days. One viral tweet summed up the confusion. Why did I think Katy Perry would stay in space for a few days or weeks, not 4 minutes? It didn't help that Perry leaned into the glamour. Before the trip, she said, "Space is finally going to be glam, and we're going to be putting the ass in astronaut." Let's just say that didn't land well. Typically, astronauts spend years preparing for missions. They train intensely, completing academic programs, physical conditioning, simulations, and even underwater exercises to mimic weightlessness. This crew, only 2 days of prep were mentioned for pre-launch safety briefings. So when the media referred to these women as astronauts, the public wasn't buying it. To many, it felt like a marketing gimmick, a space tourism stunt with the polish of a press release, not the grit of exploration. The mission was marketed as a landmark for female empowerment, and while the sentiment was there, the execution raised eyebrows. Katy Perry said the journey would show young girls they could reach for the stars. She called it a symbol of limitless possibility, but in reality, the only people who can afford a Blue Origin ticket are celebrities or the ultra-wealthy. Seats on these flights reportedly cost between $200,000 and $500,000. One passenger in a past mission paid up to $1 million, not exactly accessible. Critics pounced. One viral comment read, $500,000 for a 4-minute ride. That's not empowerment. That's a luxury joyride. Perry's quote about no limitations felt tone-deaf to many. If space is the final frontier, it seems like the gatekeeping starts with your bank account. When the rocket touched back down, Perry exited the pod and dramatically kissed the ground. The moment went viral, and not in a good way. Memes poured in. One compared her to real astronauts who returned from grueling, months-long missions, and things got worse from there. Following the massive backlash, a new report has emerged. Katy Perry reportedly regrets the way it all went down. According to the Daily Mail UK, Perry doesn't regret going to space. It was, in her words, life-changing. But she does regret the way it was publicized. An insider close to Perry said, "What she does regret is making a public spectacle out of it." The source claimed Perry feels embarrassed about kissing the ground and her dramatic close-up moments, including one where she held a daisy to the camera, a nod to her daughter Daisy Dove Bloom. She reportedly wishes the video footage from inside the pod was never shown at all. She expected celebration. What she got was criticism, memes, and online ridicule. Perry once filmed a UNICEF video warning about climate change and its effect on poor communities. So when she described the space trip as a benefit for the Earth, people were quick to call her out. In a post-flight interview, she said, "From up there, we think, oh my God, we have to protect our Mother Earth." But many weren't buying it. Model and author Emily Ratajkowski criticized the trip in a viral TikTok, and she wasn't alone. Environmentalists pointed out that the Blue Origin flight, while using cleaner fuels like hydrogen and oxygen, still released more greenhouse gases than the average person will in a lifetime. Blue Origin isn't just a space company, it's a business. A for-profit machine run by one of the wealthiest men in history, Jeff Bezos. And this all-female flight, many saw it as a marketing stunt designed to make the company look progressive and inspiring. One critic summed it up bluntly. "This isn't feminism, it's capitalism in a pink jumpsuit." And while some passengers like Aisha Bowe and Amanda Nguyen have real backgrounds in science, the overall presentation leaned hard into celebrity culture rather than exploration. That disconnect between the message and the mission is what seemed to irritate people the most. If the flight had just been marketed as a fun, high-profile space tourism trip, maybe things would have gone differently. It could have been celebrated as a lighthearted moment, a new chapter in luxury experiences, a futuristic flex for the ultra-rich. No harm, no foul. But because the team, and especially Perry, framed it as a moment of global empowerment, expectations skyrocketed. The internet wanted substance, not spectacle. Katy Perry's space trip will be remembered, but probably not in the way she imagined. Instead of inspiring a generation, it sparked a conversation about performative empowerment, environmental hypocrisy, and what happens when branding tries to hijack progress. So while it may not have been a step backward for feminism, it certainly wasn't the leap forward it could have been. And now, with Perry reportedly wishing she could erase the footage entirely, it seems even she's asking herself, was it worth it?